Howdy everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brianna and today I'm going to be introducing you guys to Raja Yoga. Raja Yoga is the scientific path of yoga, which includes Ashtanga Yoga, which is the 8-limb path of yoga that is written in the Sutras of Patanjali, and Raja Yoga is greatly influenced by the Sutras of Patanjali. So essentially I'm going to be talking about the sutras as well because they serve as guides for living the living the yogi lifestyle, having morals, and building up a practice for meditation. And it's a good foundation that I like to refer to just throughout my sadhana practices, and yeah, I'm gonna get into it. So I feel like first thing is, what is the goal of yoga? Based off of the sutras, in book 1, sutra 2, it's yogas chitta vritti nirodha. The restraint of the modifications of the mind stuff is yoga. That was one of the most important sutras they wanted us to remember during our program, and I definitely think about it frequently because I never thought about it before. So the restraint over the modifications of the mind stuff. The mind stuff is all the emotions and the reactions and just whatever layers of what they call Maya in the East, illusion, that clouds our true self. And our true self is essentially peace. It is always within us. We can always access it, but we don't always feel it because it is clouded with all the other mind stuff that is constantly going on. And that is the goal. According to the sutras, that is the goal of yoga, is to clear the mind so we make a way to come to remember our true selves. And we do this through Ashtanga Yoga. And Ashtanga Yoga is 8-limbed yoga, as I just said, and that is made up of the yamas, niyamas, which is abstinence and observance, and then asanas, which is poses, the one everyone knows, and then pranayama, breath regulation, breath control, and then pratyahara, which is sense withdrawal. And then it goes to dhyana, concentration, dharana, meditation, and then samadhi, which is like super consciousness, enlightenment, nirvana, the tip top once you get to that point, which will add, it's not something you just come to overnight. It is these ideas in in Raja Yoga, it's a regular practice, it's a daily practice, and within the sutras it talks about this practice, what you need to do to fully embody this practice as to be a meditator. And this is the first book, and it also helps to guide us to have a peace of mind. How are we able to keep our peace of mind? Because that's the goal of, the goal of yoga. You always want to be at peace, not necessarily always happy, to be at peace. And one of the biggest lessons too is to embrace our suffering, because we tend to, with the Maya, the illusion, we label things as good and bad, as if bad things aren't supposed to happen to us. But that is kind of the contract that comes with life, is that things are going to happen that we don't plan or don't go our way, and it's when we resist it the most that we have a harder time coping and keeping our peace of mind. And if the goal is to keep the peace of mind, you have to embrace it. And to embrace it, you actually kind of shed the good bad label, and you just take in whatever situation, whatever's going on moment by moment. And of course, this is speaking generally too, but I guess it could kind of go for all things, even the worst things that we think of, because, you know, like everything happens out here and on this planet. So yeah, I have notes down here, like whatever things to keep track of this so I don't go off topic. I did. So what are the sutras? The sutras, it is a book compiled by Patanjali, and technically they don't know if Patanjali was a single person or a group of people, because Patanjali is just I don't know what the right term for it is, but I'm gonna say like a rank, spiritual ranking that is, it's like above Swami, and Patanjali is yeah, it's just like the rank, it's not necessarily like the name of the person. So, but the sutras are compiled by Patanjali, and it's 196 aphorisms. It's split up into 4 books, but you know, you can have it in one book. Here, I have a copy. This is honestly my favorite translation. I mean, I've only read 2, but this one, maybe it's biased because I took my class at Integral Yoga, but this is a great translation to begin to understand Raja Yoga and the sutras, and Swamiji does just a great job really helping you to absorb the sutras. And I have another copy too, actually. It's a skinnier copy and it's a little more straightforward, but I think it's only have like 1 book of the sutras. That's why it's so skinny, but it's not the same, just have to say. But yeah, that's basically what the sutras are. They just serve as guides for us as yogis and to develop our sadhana, to keep our peace of mind, to help us remember our truth. And yeah, and I'm going to go ahead and add that Raja Yoga is just simply a branch of yoga. There are 4 branches of yoga. It's Raja, Bhakti, Jnana, and Karma Yoga. And Raja Yoga is just the scientific path. Karma Yoga is the path of selfless service. Bhakti Yoga is devotional, and then Jnana Yoga is of more the philosophical, like knowledge of reading spiritual texts and ancient texts and things of that nature. So Raja Yoga is highly emphasized with Integral Yoga, just because really Integral Yoga is like based off of Raja Yoga in a sense, and the teachings, they just touched me deeply, and it's one of those things they feel like people who, you know, who do yoga and who are into being on a spiritual path and having spiritual practice, I'm not saying most, I am literally just saying like for a good amount of people, including myself, like I never thought about reading this sort of thing, and I've never seen anything of it. Like on social media, you don't see people refer to the sutras or the Gita or anything like that. It's just posts about rituals and whatnot. So I just want to bring these to light. Be like, hey, these are like guides, and they can help serve us as yogis to grow our practice. So this was just kind of an introduction video of Raja Yoga and the sutras, and I just want to talk about it more often. We went pretty extensive? We just went deep. We deep dive into this book, and I also have reread this book, and it's just one of those things that you just keep reading it and you absorb more as you go. So yeah, and if you found this interesting, put thumbs up, like the video if you liked it. If it resonated, if you're fascinated, leave a comment. And if you want to hear more, just let me know. I want to talk about it more. It's definitely super interesting, because a lot of the sutras, they also in a sense address the questions that people tend to ask, like a new age spiritual person with hard questions and don't know how to answer. And I feel like this book actually helps to answer those questions. I mean, also the Gita does as well. I recommend, if you're a reader, I recommend this book and read it 10 million times. And if not, then just stay tuned for these videos and I'll explain the sutras and how it can just benefit your life in general, if you're interested. But thank you for watching, and I hope you guys have a beautiful day, and yeah, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.